Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. One a little different today. It's a blue one. Not many blue ones on my channel. It's a New Holland Ford LS55. Not sure why it's got the Ford badge on it. It's actually the same as a what is it? A Toro 269H. I think it was a joint venture between New Holland and Ford, or New Holland and Toro, or Toro. Who knows? Anyway, somehow Ford got their name on it, maybe because they sold it through the Ford dealers. But anyway, this tractor's got a little history. I bought this tractor 16 years ago. We moved into a house in a neighborhood and it had a little over 3/4 of an acre, almost an acre. And all we had was a push mower from the previous house because it was a small lot. So I told my cousin that owned an auction house, I said, hey, keep your eyes out for a decent garden tractor. I said, I want something to mow, I got an acre of ground I want to mow. So a couple weeks passed and he called and said, hey, I found a tractor. One's coming through on Wednesday and it's a Ford. He said, it's in decent shape. It needs a little bit of work. He didn't think it ran. He said I could probably buy it dirt cheap. So anyway, he called me later on that week and said, hey, don't forget that tractor. And I said, man, I can't make it. Go ahead and bid on it for me. And he said, how much? And I said, I don't know, you're the auctioneer, you tell me. So at the time, 16 years ago, it wasn't that old of a tractor, so it had a little bit of value to it, fixed up. So I think I got it for 2 or 2.5 and ended up putting it's got a lift cylinder for the deck that's powered by the hydraulic motor, and the lift cylinder was leaking, so I rebuilt it. The hydraulic motor was locked up, so I put a new motor, and I reused the pump, but put a new motor in the back of it. I think I got the parts off eBay. Got a couple at the Ford dealer, which they were super expensive. I remember just thinking how expensive they were back then, trying to fix this thing, and a lot of the parts I couldn't get from from eBay, so I had to get them from Ford. Anyway, fast forward 10 years later, we bought this property, and it was 5 acres, and I did it a couple times with this, and it was a lot because it's a smaller deck. I think it's a 48-inch deck. I haven't measured it. I don't really remember. I don't think it's 48-inch deck, and it just took a while. I wanted something a little different, a little bigger, a little faster, so I bought that 60-inch Cub zero turn that's back in the channel. I've had that all that time. I think I'm up to 230 or something hours on it, but anyway, this thing sat around, so I ended up selling it. Sold it to a buddy that sold it to a relative, and since then, my cousin, he passed away, and I kind of wanted it back. I know, kind of sentimental, kind of. I don't know, I'm weird like that. So I wanted it back, so I told him, I said, if you get a chance to buy it back, I want it. So I think a couple years passed, and he said, hey, I can get that tractor back. He said, it's in a lot worse shape than when you sold it. I said, well, if it's decent, if it runs. He said, oh, it runs good, just needs some work. I said, go ahead and get it. So I don't know, I think I paid him $100.50, which I thought I overpaid him big time for it. But anyway, it needed a drive belt on it. That was a pain in the ass. Took it apart, put the drive belt on it. Just did it yesterday. And that fixed that. That issue was fixed. I got one of those heat guns. They uses the metal, and it stitches plastics back together. I had to stitch that hood back together right there. It was broke. And I stitched it together right there. Just made it stronger. It's got 2 cracks in it. I stopped it before it went any farther. Anyway, and I polished it, and still got some wax on it. I waxed it, polished it. Yeah, the thing runs great. It's always been a great tractor. I've always kept the oil changed on it. Never had issues with it. I don't remember what year it is. I'll get the serial number here in a minute. I think when I bought it, it had 300 and something hours on. It's got 1126 on it now. So that's on the original motor, 19 horse Kohler. Runs great, doesn't smoke. There's the serial number. I'm thinking 94. I'll look it up and post it in the title. The seat's been replaced since I had it. I had a blue seat on it with a seat cover. I think they took it to Feldman Power, that's up here in Brighton. Now that might have been the one I had it, because they're in Brighton now. That says Godfrey, Illinois. So that might have been there. I don't remember. Anyway, it's missing one deck cover. Somehow that got lost. He had the other one. I put it back on and painted it. this tractor's got. It's got the hydraulic lift, like I told you before. It's got electric PTO. It does have cruise, which does work. It's got tilt steering. All in all, good little tractor. It's been a great tractor. Like I said, I've owned it for 14 years now. Lost it for 2. Let me see if I can get the hood open with one hand. It's got little catches that hold it. They still work. There we go. Got it. There's your Kohler Command 19 horse. Like I said, it's clean. I've always kept the oil change. There's that hydraulic pump I was telling you about. I put a new motor in the back of it. All your relays. There's your reservoir for your hydraulic fluid. Back, I don't know, maybe 13, 14 years ago, I bought that replacement fiberglass grill. The original one was broke. Actually, I think I hit something and broke it worse, but I found that one on eBay. There was a guy that made those. I'm not sure if he still makes them, but I took and painted it with some Ford engine blue, and yeah, that's been on there for a good 14 years. The deck's been touched up. I just touched it up. That's probably the 6th or 7th time I've sprayed engine paint on that deck. No rust holes. Just not restored, just just touched up so it looks better. Original tires are still in the rear. I put front tires on it probably 15 years ago. Those were flat when I bought it, that's right. So I did have to put front tires on it. All in all, good little tractor. Let's get on it and fire it up. You always have to choke this one. Brake. Come on, baby. Flooded it. Guys, that's the Ford New Holland LS55. Just wanted to give you a quick look at it. She's gonna die. Too low idle. She caught. Okay guys, till the next one. Thanks for watching this video, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks man. See ya.